Welcome everybody to the Bunch of Goofs podcast. Here's our host, Agent Faja Gamer, and his co-hosts, Audacia and Hey I'm Chef. And together they are the Bunch of Goofs.
Well, hey there, everybody. I just wanted to remind y'all that Bunch of Goofs is recorded in front of a live audience during a live cast on Twitch.
Welcome everybody to another Bunch of Goofs livecast podcast with me, Oda, and Chef. Welcome all the Goofs and welcome to everybody for today's livecast podcast. We're going to talking about whatever. Today I do have a subject and I'm actually going to be working on trying to get a specific subject to talk about while we go all over the place like we usually do. And of course, since Oda did do the fit check and I do want to show it off, haha! I have my official Asian Faja Gamer t-shirt, now available on the AFG brand store. Link is in my bio. Design, thanks to Chef.
I didn't do it. As Oda's drinking the mug.
Yep, from the Patreon exclusive mug.
Yeah, that is only found on being on the Patreon. Link is in the bio.
Link is also in the bio, yes. So, today's subject is specifically Kaiju in honor of the release of Godzilla Kong Empire. I'm not gonna say the X because the X is supposed to be fucking silent. What? Don't give me that look.
I mean, I prefer all X's to be silent.
Agreed.
I have a random question I actually thought of that you guys, since you brought this up, Faja. When did you first learn the word kaiju?
I first learned the word kaiju from the Showa era of Godzilla. Because I watched original Godzilla.
I learned it while I was watching, oh shit. Pacific Rim.
Okay. And Ragson, thank you so much for being here on the Bunch of Goofs Livecast podcast. And of course, I'm glad that you 100% agree because I 100% agree.
I think the word kaiju became popular because of Pacific Rim.
Probably because
yeah.
it's the only real piece of media that made that word prevalent.
Because the only other time you heard kaiju is if you were actually listening to the original Japanese subversion of the Godzilla movies. Because they say kaiju when they describe these giant monsters, but when you watch the dub version, they say giant monster. So yeah, it definitely was Pacific Rim that made the word kaiju prevalent here in the western side of the world, for sure.
Speaking of Pacific Rim for half a second, because of like the interaction with like they only refer to them as kaiju, and you know all that like they don't aside from like the level that they are. You know, that's what I feel like really like brought the word over. And just because I am a huge fan of the first movie, not the second one, because fuck that shit.
We're not mentioning the second movie.
I really want to get into the comics.
I will be right back.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, no, the comics are very interesting because the comics are where you get, one, they talk about the very first Jaeger, which is a very interesting unit because it was the first unit that was created without the two-pilot system.
It also didn't have the nuclear shielding either.
No, it didn't, which, you know, all of the Mark 1s didn't have nuclear shielding, which is why Marshall
Fantastic
had
idea.
cancer. Right? He
didn't have cancer. He had radiation sickness.
Right. I thought it was... Never mind. My bad. 1 second. Grabbing a pencil? This pencil should work, yeah? Cool.
Pencil for what?
Your face. I'm making a sign. I'm making a sign so that even though I'm here on TikTok, I don't have to worry about trying to say anything to them. I can just put up the sign and be like... That way, it's a lot easier to edit this for YouTube and Spotify once it goes up on there. And, where did Oda go anyways?
He said he'd be right back. He was talking to Laura for a second. Like a good minute. And then,
Gotcha.
Then he said, I'll be right back.
Oh. Shit. It's not readable because it's backwards! Fuck it. Whatever. I give up.
Just write it backwards.
Fuck you.
I can do that. I can do it.
I can't. Because I can't do that.
Well, don't you just suck?
Right, I do suck. No, this is the Livecast podcast of a bunch of goofs. Appreciate y'all being here on Twitch, though. Now then, let's continue on, because we were talking about Kaiju. I was just talking about Pacific Rim right now. Not the second movie, obviously, but the first movie. Which, okay.
The second movie had potential. I just think the writers went super downhill.
And honestly, they didn't give Boyega a good character to play.
I mean, this seems to keep happening to him.
Yeah. It does. I mean, like, look at Finn.
Well, Finn started out good.
Yeah, but then they just fucking forgot about Finn. They're like, fuck Finn.
Thank you, Kathleen Kennedy.
Right?
But anyway.
What are we talking about?
We were talking about Pacific Rim, and then we went off on a tangent about Star Wars because John Bodega.
Yes.
But we need to go back to Kaiju.
Yes, we need to go back to Kaiju because that is what we're talking about here.
Huh?
George Lucas's tribute to Godzilla, the Zillo Beast.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
That is definitely a Kaiju.
And it was literally stated by George Lucas to be his ode to Godzilla.
Yup. That's why it's called the Zillo Beast.
Now, here's my question. Since we're in the Star Wars universe and we're talking about Kaiju,
Okay.
does the Sarlacc count as a Kaiju? Or is it just a big-ass animal?
Only the greater Sarlacc I would consider a Kaiju. But only one of them has really gotten to that size, right?
I don't remember.
Well, the thing is, they're still people eaters. They can't eat an elephant, I don't think.
Yeah, they can.
The greater one can.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've seen that one. I've only ever seen the one that barely fit a person.
So the greater one is essentially the one that was owned by Jabba the Hutt. You know the one that they were fighting over. So that one was big enough that at the very least to fit. Maybe not a full-grown like Indian bull elephant.
No, it could have. It could have.
Could have.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that Sarlacc. There's another Sarlacc on a. Oh fuck! I think it was in the animated stuff, not the live action.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one that is the entire size of an asteroid, and like they think it's a cave, and they land their ship in it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I thought that was just a space worm. Yeah, it was a worm.
No, it was a Sarlacc.
Well,
It
also keep in mind the Sarlacc are giant worms.
They are.
The only thing I've ever seen of the Sarlacc is the opening in the Return of the Jedi.
Really? Okay.
I've seen them.
Look, this is gonna freak
Bear
you
with
out.
me.
Look
Bear
up
with me.
the Sarlacc when they're young. Go look that up. They're fucking freaky. Trust me. You're gonna look at them and be like, nah, fuck that. I'm glad they never made that into the movie.
Hold up, I got you.
What the hell?
He found it.
He saw it. Yeah, that's a baby Sarlacc.
What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a bunch of those running
looked like
around.
somebody- That's what blasters are for.
Good luck with a blaster.
Okay, that's what the blasters from the Star
That's
Wars
what they
Build
really should. That's what they.
Online two-handed hold under blasters for.
That's what they should really use the fucking Death Star for.
Right, those things.
You know what? The Death Star was literally the Death Star is the definition of ego bypassing sense.
But
now,
at one reactor power, it was enough to wipe life off of a planet.
yes.
You don't have to destroy the planet, and as a lot of people have stated, guarded worlds are not common.
But they decided to destroy it because, power. Show of power.
Alderaan, you mean Alderaan.
God damn it, dude.
But anyway, back to Kaiju.
Yes. Okay, here's a question in regards to the Star Wars universe with Kaiju. Would you consider a Purgle a Kaiju?
No.
No, they're not big enough?
No, it's not that they're not big enough. So for me, Kaiju is a giant monster. Something that's not. I know my opinion's going to be different than everybody's, but Kaiju's a giant monster. It's not meant to be that size, and it kind of mutated or was something from long ago. A Purgle is not. A Purgle is meant to be that big.
Yeah, but they're also not very common.
No, they were.
I think they're
They
the
used
only
to be.
animal I've ever seen. That's the only animal I've ever seen that literally considered a Star Destroyer a speed bump.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And honestly,
Well,
the
that's
thing
the
is,
thing.
the Purgle used to be quite abundant before, intergalactic travel and intergalactic tradeways were like, you know what? Kill them. They're in the way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was mostly Empire.
Yes.
But almost the entire Purgle, population went with Ezra to the other galaxy.
Yeah. And Okana, hi, how are you? Welcome. And Lux, he says, hey, I gotta leave relatively soon. Just wanted to stop by and say hi again. Hello, welcome, my friend. As for where is it? Joey Trends asks, I need to know who the thing at the end was. What do you mean the thing at the end?
Thing at the end. He's talking about the movie The Thing with Kurt Russell.
Oh, it was an alien.
No, he's which one? Kurt Russell or the other dude was the Thing?
Oh. Huh.
It's an ongoing issue that nobody has the direct answer to.
I don't know. That's true. I don't have an answer. But I do think we should get back onto the subject of Kaiju.
I mean, we were talking about Kaiju. You asked a question about Purgles, and I
That's
answered
true.
it.
That's true.
Okay,
I just wanted to ask
yeah,
that.
For you guys,
Huh?
it's a really funny one for you. When was the first time you saw a Kaiju?
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
So the first time I saw a Kaiju, once again, I hate to keep bringing it up. It's from the Showa era because my first era of giant monsters was black and white Godzilla.
Why's it gotta be black and white?
Because it wasn't black and white. Fuck you.
I don't know if it was Godzilla or Turbo Man.
Turbo Man.
Did that?
God, I haven't thought of that in fucking forever.
Wait,
Like a fall
you're talking about when they had the American translation error for Ultraman and just went with it?
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I said the right name.
No. It was Turbo Man. They went with that for like an entire season.
Okay, but that was one of the first ones I saw. Then there was Power Rangers. Oh, here's a fun question for you, Chef. Do you consider a monster that was artificially made bigger? Was it always a kaiju, or did it become a kaiju?
It becomes a kaiju when it gets bigger.
Yeah.
Kaiju's all about size. Giggity.
That's what she said.
I mean,
We all had the same idea with that one.
The only, like, redefining of the terminology of kaiju, I believe, only occurs in Kaiju number 8, which is the manga that came out. Because the kaiju in there aren't really that big.
Here's another funny one. Is Naruto in his Kurama form a kaiju?
No, because that's a spirit.
Yeah.
But the other Jinchuriki actually take on the form of the ant. So is he the only Jinchuriki that's not a kaiju?
No, none of them are
Went
kaiju.
with our existing choice.
None of them are kaiju. They're just summoned spirits.
Yeah, they're all spirits.
They're not summoned.
Yeah, they are.
Technically, that is a gray area because the spirit can punch you. To me, a spirit can't physically interact easily, and they have a physical presence. You can attack them; they can attack back.
I mean, at the same time, then you get into the gray area of was the panda bear that turned evil into the evil spirit in Avatar: The Last Airbender a kaiju?
Or are the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and their giant robots kaiju?
First off, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are kaiju.
Yeah, the Megazords are kaiju.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't say the Megazord. The Megazords are more like Jaegers.
Godzilla's a freaking kaiju. A Megazord is a kaiju.
I don't consider Mega Godzilla a kaiju. It's
Yeah.
a robot. I could
Actually,
again.
It's a monster.
No, because
Again, I consider kaiju organic.
but the thing is, it depends on which Mechagodzilla. Because originally, the first Mechagodzilla was built around Ghidorah's head,
Yeah.
so it had a mind. It was only after the second Mark II Mechagodzilla that they stopped using pieces of kaiju to create it.
Fool me once.
Yeah, I guess.
My thought is, if it's big enough to take a squat on a skyscraper and use it as a throne, it's a kaiju.
But that's kind of okay. But does that make like certain gods kaiju then?
Probably. Depending on whether you're on their side or not.
Right. I mean, I'm going with classification of kaiju for me is an organic monster.
Giant monster.
A giant organic monster.
You're
I don't
thinking giant animal monster. They can't be supernatural, from what you're saying.
correct. I don't
stick with sci-fi for the most part. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no. This is just what I think. Like, I don't care. I mean,
agree with you. That's why I'm asking, because there's a lot of giant monsters that aren't kaiju, and that's what I'm trying to get at.
because I mean, again, by that same, like, if we're going just by that classification, the standard Legend of Dragons would make dragons kaiju.
Technically,
Especially in like D&D, or like I'm reading Iron Flame right now, which is the second book behind Fourth Wing, and yeah, I know what you're laughing at. But you know, the older the dragon gets, the bigger it gets, and like they just get monstrous the older they get. So technically, dragons would be considered kaiju by my classification.
And of course, there's also the what is it? The gigantic black dragon that is only mentioned of in the Lord of the Rings lore.
Yeah.
The one
What were you
that's
gonna say, Oda?
bigger.
I was gonna say, you want to talk about one? Joey Trends, Clifford is a kaiju.
I mean, technically.
I
he'd be
kind
a
of would have
small
to
one.
agree.
The thing is, Clifford isn't a monster. Clifford's the one that walks up to the other kaiju and goes,
sir?
"My human, back off."
Sir, try being afraid of dogs and walking up to Clifford.
I am afraid of dogs, and I'd walk up to Clifford.
Well, that's because Clifford's an animated dog. I'm saying, imagine a fucking German Shepherd that fucking big enough to ride on like a school bus.
Dude, if that big of a German Shepherd came towards me, I would literally freeze up and die. Because the German Shepherd is what bit my face off when I was a kid.
Let's see, Clifford has to have accidentally caused small disasters. I mean, yeah. All
he
Clifford needs
does.
to do is roll over and there goes somebody's house.
Well, no, I mean, Clifford has done accidents like that in the books and the comics and shit like that.
Also, there's the fact that, alright, we know that if a dog farts in the next room, you will smell it.
Oh
Imagine
no.
how bad it is.
The only thing I'm picturing is that scene from Jurassic Park. That's a big pile of shit.
Oh my god. And imagine if somebody accidentally gave Clifford chocolate.
Oh no.
First off, for a dog that big, do you have an idea how much chocolate you would have to give him to get that reaction?
You'd have to give him a
Actually, I
Willy
bet some
Wonka-sized chocolate bar.
No, I've actually seen dogs where they got a cup. They're a big dog. They got a couple of chocolate chips.
It depends upon the
It was
chocolate.
explosive.
Yeah, it depends upon the chocolate. Dark chocolate is actually not poisonous to dogs. It's milk chocolate.
Yeah, it's that dairy
Yeah,
and
it's-
fat product in there.
Yeah. So, the thing.
God, that would be the world's
actually-
shittiest slip and slide.
Ew.
For kaiju classification.
Ooh,
Question for kaiju classification.
Uh-huh.
Do
okay.
you base it upon the size of the animal, or the size of the damage caused by the animal?
Size of the animal.
Okay.
Because I mean, so this is going really far back for all of us.
Okay.
Think of the video game Rampage.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Those are all kaiju.
Yes.
I mean, granted, they don't call them kaiju, but some of them are not super big, but actually they're all roughly about the same size, but they're big enough to bring down an entire skyscraper. So I mean, if we go by damage, then fucking All Might would be the biggest kaiju of them all.
He's not a monster.
Depending on who
depending
you
on which
ask.
side of it.
Okay, think about this way. You think he's not a monster, but All Might was powerful enough to not only change his entire world, but become a symbol that everyone around the world knew and feared. How is he not a
It's Godzilla.
monster?
Because somebody classified monsters as not human.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
I'm going by his definitions.
Yeah, no, I'm going by the fact that the question about damage versus size of monster.
Right.
So,
And one last clarification one, because I think this is fun and it's having me have fun. Do you consider swarms that become one creature to be a kaiju?
No.
They're each individually small enough, so the star monster at the end of Suicide Squad is not a kaiju?
No.
I don't know. I haven't watched Suicide Squad. I don't like Suicide
See,
Squad.
okay, the thing is, that's not actually a fair approximation, because it turning into smaller bits isn't it turning into smaller bits. Those are its children.
Oh, I've actually seen versions of it where it actually is just a bunch of them fusing.
Okay,
into a
well
giant
then
star.
we gotta go into the question of which version are we talking about?
I just saw. I didn't know it was different. I thought it was the same as the one I saw before.
No,
off the base comic.
No, because it's actually when Starro talks to not Harlequin, Starro talks to one of them. Oh, the doctor, that fucking dude with the big brain. It actually tells him that those are its children, the littler ones in the movie, at least.
Okay. Yeah, because just a lot of different kaiju. Like I've seen some kaijus where they're actually like a swarm, but they are one monster because they're a hive mind. So it's one mind with 1,000 parts.
I still wouldn't
And it's
consider that a kaiju.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I guess I wouldn't either, because then again, just being devil's advocate at this point, that would consider giant locust swarms a kaiju.
But they don't have a hive mind where one intelligence is controlling them.
Have you ever seen a giant swarm move?
That's not an intelligence. That's just.
And
behavior.
actually, that could be argued because they have done studies where they potentially do have somewhat of a hive connection. Just like ants.
The comment. What about Unicron?
Giant robot. But
Well, he's a
alive
living creature.
and not a amalgamation. But he's also a construct.
I don't know who Unicron is.
Because
Unicron
Unicron was
is-
made by the triple entity. Just like all the other.
Depends on the mythos you're going by.
So far,
There's another
every
one-
depiction of Unicron has been created by the triple consciousness or the Trinity in some way.
Okay, then I just because I haven't heard of that before, and usually what I've always heard is Unicron and Primus were there at the beginning.
Yeah, and they were built by the triple consciousness. And they built Cybertron and the Cybertronians.
Oh, we're talking Transformers. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
Unicron
yeah.
and Primus were built originally. They're constructs.
Yeah, the Transformers kind of blurs the line because it's living technology.
Yeah, Transformers really does.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, those are machines. I wouldn't consider them kaiju.
No.
The thing is, but they're also living beings.
This is true, but they're not
That's the
organic.
reason why it's kind of blurry.
But they're
Yeah, I
also
know.
technically artificial intelligence.
That
I
is
don't
such.
consider a spark to be artificial.
Because it was artificially created. And it wasn't
I
by
actually
a
don't
godlike
know
being,
that.
it was created by a physical being.
Okay. Depending on the depiction, Primus is a god.
Created by a physical being and has a physical form.
We're getting
Same.
into religion versus spontaneous life
Yeah.
Yeah,
right
that's-
now.
But
New
there's-
subject.
Yeah, but there was nothing actually depicting Primus as a god in the comic books other than the Cybertronians calling him a god.
Yeah, I'm going off of the various TV shows I've seen that have come out recently.
Well, we all know everybody's habit of taking the source material and changing it a little bit and tweaking it to make it something different than the source material.
Mhm.
Yeah, because
So
what kind you get in order to sell more toys?
exactly.
Yeah. And Absolute Zero.
That's all it is right now.
Yeah, we were actually kind of talking about that before we got a little bit derailed. But yeah, no, we all have kind of a basic definition of what kaiju is. At least me and Chef have a very, very similar definition, which essentially is giant monster, which is literally what the terminology is defined by.
It isn't the fact that we define giant. I consider a giant monster. I just classify monster a little bit broader than you guys do.
Let's see. As
Yeah,
someone,
I mean,
oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say for kaiju, I also have the added definition of putting on organic monster. Because
Yeah.
I don't consider Mechagodzilla a kaiju.
Nor
He is a machine.
And me personally, I don't think that spiritual creatures should ever be put in the category of kaiju. This doesn't make any sense. And then Joey Trends here says, as someone who really tapped into kaiju things, has there ever been a
Who's
form
not
of
really
media
tapped in?
that combined the idea of werewolf and kaiju, like they turn into massive, close to I think is Hulk, but he's more Frankenstein but doesn't have the size? Yeah, there's Kaiju number 8. That's the newest manga that came out that literally actually goes into that concept.
I
But
don't know. The only one that I can think of that I know of was was Rita Repulsa's general who had the wolf face who got turned big all the time.
there was also a comic book that came out, I believe, in like the 70s period around Godzilla that actually had a child that could become Godzilla using a fucking almost Omnitrix-like watch. It didn't do well.
I have one thing I find really funny that's going to blur some lines on you. What about organic machines like Kaiju from Pacific Rim?
Do what? Sorry, I missed
Kaiju
that.
from Pacific Rim are created. They're
Yeah.
weapons.
They're biological, not
Well,
mechanical.
But they're
They're-
still... The thing is, technically, even though it's made of biological...
No,
thing,
not even
they
technical.
are
We're not making that
simple-
distinction. At least I'm not.
That's my thing. They were constructed. They all have the same DNA because somebody literally made the flesh the way they wanted to and put it together. They were 100% a designed by someone else creature.
And it originated from a biological source that had to have be alive, not a non-biological silicon-based force that has no life and wasn't artificially created to be programmed, like Cybertronians.
I'm just saying gray areas.
Kind of. I mean, I could see both. Like, yes, they are constructed, so technically they're not 100%, I guess, not like sentient, but you know what I mean. But the thing is Kaiju or Pacific Rim Kaiju are organic and they're giant monsters. So technically, by my definition, they fit. Now, if we get into the whole, life versus artificial intelligence and religion and all that fun stuff, it might change. It all depends upon everybody's personal classification, but the overarching classification is giant monster. I personally add the organic part to it. But like the creators of Godzilla obviously didn't have that classification. They made Mechagodzilla.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually part of the reason why I always consider, to me, it's just if it's 30 foot tall and it beats the crap out of another 30 foot tall thing, they're kaiju.
And I mean that's pretty much the pretty standard definition of a kaiju.
Yeah.
I mean, I have seen people call the Megazord a kaiju.
Actually,
Which
yeah,
I
I've seen
find
a lot
funny,
of videos make that argument.
But again, me personally, it has to be an organic creature, not something
So
mechanical.
Personally, I don't think
kaiju.
anybody can say would ever convince me that spiritual would be considered kaiju, or robots, or anything that is not biological is a kaiju.
I just say, just call it big monsters beating the crap out of each other, enjoy the fight. We're overthinking about something that's literally supposed to be mindless. Giant monster on giant monster make building go burr.
Well, yeah, but the
No,
whole point of
wait,
this is to
wait.
have these conversations, because that's what the bunch of Goofs is about.
It's not to make building go burr.
Let's just
Yeah.
not lose that thought. It's for fun.
It's not to make building go burr. It's to make building go crumble.
Right? Building goes smash! And I would consider Way Big a kaiju. I really would.
Way big. What's
From Ben 10. One of the Omnitrix aliens.
Oh, yeah.
That literally is Ultraman.
Fucking Ultraman.
And then they made him short.
Wait,
Have
what?
you seen the Netflix series?
Scotty,
The Netflix
really?
series-
The fucking
Yeah,
fat
yeah,
nuggets finally arrived. How long did that
God.
take?
2 months.
Yay!
Jesus.
So aside from Pacific Rim, Godzilla, what other forms of media have kaiju prevalent?
Gamera.
Huh?
Gamera. The giant turtle?
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Godzilla's #1 competitor?
No, I'm saying what other franchises? Sorry.
Yeah, Gamera's a
That's
franchise. Gamera's a separate franchise from
Oh,
Godzilla.
fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Uh,
also Ultraman, which is actually a separate one from Godzilla, too, technically.
And technically Power Rangers.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Did you guys ever watch? Oh my god, I can never. I gotta look up the name for this because this is a really interesting name.
Okay, well, you're looking that up. So I already brought up Rampage. That was that was a fun game from the Game Boy, original Game Boy, and then Game Boy Color.
and the arcades, of
then-
course.
Yeah, and the arcades, and I think PlayStation even had one, like the PlayStation 1. What other... I can't think of any other franchise where you play as a kaiju.
Other than games that were fighting games based off of Godzilla games.
Correct.
I'm thinking.
I mean, truthfully, like, I can't think of any games where you fight kaijus. That aren't, like, mythical, or not mythical, like, from the Greek pantheon, like God of War and shit like that.
Or demons from, biblical shit.
Yeah.
Huh.
I found it!
What is it?
Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad.
Oh my fucking god.
Dude, that is such a blast from the fucking past.
So here's the thing. It's kaiju, but you're technically in a computer, but it's still kaiju.
No, it works. It still fucking works. Oh, wait. Have any of you ever heard of Ultra V?
Yes. I've
No.
heard of it. I've heard of it, that's it.
That's oh god, that's another one that had kaiju in it. That was the most confusing kaiju ever because they never explained it. They're just from outer space and they're attacking Earth. Why? Who the fuck knows? But we got a giant robot to fight it.
Oh, have you ever seen Knights of Sidonia?
Oh yes.
I know the song by Muse.
It's based off of the show.
I never watched the show.
Yeah, it's literally they built a bunch of things called guards, which are basically mass-produced Gundams to fight these super monster things that they have to fight. And the only way to defeat it, and to begin with, is special spears.
It was
You
cool.
have to... Oh yeah.
I mean, it was
And
cool
then
when
have
I
to
was
be
a
able to
kid,
find
okay?
the-
Don't laugh at me.
Oh yeah.
What other kaiju media was there? Oh, wait. Did any of you actually watch the Cartoon Network version of the Godzilla cartoon?
Yes.
You mean
It's WB?
that was Kids WB first?
Was it WB? Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
But either way, that
Yeah.
version of the Godzilla cartoon?
You mean when they actually went back to Godzilla being Godzilla?
Yeah, like the
Well-
hero Godzilla?
Well, they're also up against other monsters. He actually got his atomic breath back.
Mm-hmm. And
I
I'm
mean,
not
my
talking about
favorite-
the one that's based off of the one with
Matthew Broderick.
yeah, that's not the one I'm talking about.
Oh no, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's the one I thought you were talking
the
about,
other
too.
one.
Oh. There's an older one, a much older one. That's actually
Older than
based
99?
Yeah, it was actually based off of the original Godzilla.
No.
And it was weird because it was literally
Oh. Yes, because that wasn't Cartoon Network, that was Boomerang.
it was
Which,
it was
I mean,
Boomerang.
technically, it is Cartoon Network, because Cartoon Network owns Boomerang.
Right,
So,
but it was it was a
they
Godzilla.
showed the reruns on Boomerang.
Yes, exactly,
Okay,
Absolute Zero. It was a Godzilla that was run by
Right.
Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
that half of the 80s Hanna-Barbera had giant monsters that He-Man or Space Ghost or insert here battled and defeated.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Hanna-Barbera, the artist, loved giant monsters. He actually really loved Godzilla,
Mm-hmm.
which is actually why
That
he
doesn't
fought for
surprise
the
me.
rights and begged Toho Studios, oh no, not Toho, Showa Studios at the time for the rights to create the first cartoon.
Yeah, and then other people got a hold of it, and now they'll never let us have it again.
I mean, we
But
still
they
have the
did,
MonsterVerse.
That's why we
No,
yeah.
no, Americans. Like, we can watch it, but Americans are never going to be allowed to touch that IP again, I pray.
So I know you guys hate me for it, but the Matthew Broderick Godzilla 1999 is my favorite Godzilla.
Okay, but who said I hate you for that? I actually like that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie if you can ignore the fact it's called Godzilla. If they
See,
had
I-
just called that Zilla, that would have been a great movie.
I mean, it's my favorite Godzilla, and that's my favorite rendition of Godzilla because it's more animal based and shows it as an animal versus,
God,
like shit. Godzilla went into his little slumber thing at the end of the last one, and supposedly came out for this new one with pink spines and pink breath because he powered up.
oh no, just wait.
No,
Just wait.
okay,
There is an
okay, because
explanation, and it's a lot better than you think.
okay, because I was reading an article on why they were because they showed the trailer where he had the pink breath and the pink scales or pink spikes and shit, and then they were doing an article about, oh yeah, that's because he leveled up like a Pokemon.
Sort of, kind of, but just watch it. Trust me. There's an explanation to it, and ultimately, it's an allusion to one of my favorite things that come from the Heisei era, which is burning Godzilla.
Yeah, that's what they were referencing in the article.
And
Okay,
it's
I
a
will
lot better
say-
than you think. Trust me.
Okay, let's get away from that spoilerific topic. I really want to see this movie. And
I do
don't
too.
care
Yeah.
If he's pink, purple, orange, I just want to see. I want to see Godzilla kick the crap out of somebody.
You will see a lot of giant monsters kick the crap out of everyone.
But I did have a question I've been trying to get in for the last hour. Do you think Jurassic Park are kaiju?
No,
No, those are animals.
those are dinosaurs.
Like those are,
Dinosaurs are not kaiju, period.
yeah, those aren't those. The only one that could potentially be a kaiju would be the oh, I just blanked on it.
The Ultrasaurus?
Indominus?
Thank you, the Indominus. Because it was again the same thing as like the kaiju in Pacific Rim. It's biological, but it was created. That would be the only one that I would classify it as. But again, the natural dinosaurs are not like those aren't kaiju. They're just big ass fucking animals that existed in the world naturally.
Mosasaurus bigger than the Indominus. Yeah, no, the Indominus Rex was not that big.
No, but the only reason why I would classify it as is because it's not a natural
It's
thing,
a
natural dinosaur.
Yeah. They literally
Which-
created it out of the DNA, but they created it not trying to imitate a natural form.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. I'm trying to think of other TV shows that have kaiju in it, because the thing is, like, Voltron was like Power Rangers. They had a big robot. It beat the crap out of giant monsters.
Yeah.
Same thing with VR Troopers, Big Bad Beetlebots.
Well, Big Bad Beetlebots was actually, or Big Beetleborgs was actually technically a season of Power Rangers
Yeah, but they split it off into its own show.
for one season.
Yeah, because it only ran for one season in Japan.
That's all they had. That's all they had. That's why they took one season and made 3 seasons here in the States.
Yep.
I don't know if that's clever or horrifying.
I think it was clever.
So, I mean, it kind of has to do with kaiju, but you know how they used to do the Power Rangers, right?
What?
They would wait for it to air in Japan, buy the rights to that season, bring it over here, and just film all the out of costume scenes with the teenagers, and then just insert the actual footage from Japan. So
Why
all
do you
the
think the lighting always changed in Power Rangers.
Mhm.
exactly. So all the fighting scenes is just straight like, oh, let's just cut the film here. Let's just cut the film here. Let's put it here.
That's also why the height of the Rangers in the beginning never matched the actors.
Or the fact that Kimberly had a skirt, but Trini didn't. Because
Yes.
in Japan,
He was a
So the
dude.
guy-
He was a dude.
the number of Yellow Rangers that have been females in America and males in the Japanese version are
What was
hysterical.
it called? Super
Sentai Soldiers.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just Super Sentai.
The first one was Super Sentai Soldiers, and then after that it went to Super Sentai Rangers, Super Sentai blah 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 blah.
Kind of like how we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, we have Beast Force, we have whatever.
Yeah.
They just added a different word, so Super Sentai Soldier, Super Sentai Ranger, Super Sentai whatever.
And then of course there's the offshoot, which was actually the cousin to Super Sentai, which was Kamen Rider. Which, if you've never watched it, even though it's completely campy, which I love personally, it's so much darker than Power Rangers. But there's no kaiju. No kaiju
Okay,
whatsoever.
so let me posit this question: what's everybody's favorite kaiju?
Ooh. Oda.
And we'll preface this and narrow down the focus to Godzilla, MonsterVerse,
Okay.
all that fun shit.
Godzilla Earth.
Okay, so your favorite is the big boy.
Mine is the force of nature. He's borderline a spiritual force of nature.
Yeah. He's literally the Earth saying... Alright, what about yours, Chef?
I mean, it'd be Godzilla, because I hate Kong. Ghidorah, I don't really like. Mothra, not so much, etc., etc. I mean, my favorite Godzilla will always be the 1999, more animal one that was fucked up because of radiation.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're talking more like Kaiju as opposed to just animal trying to fucking get through its life cycle, probably the newer Godzillas. Granted, he's chunkier. He's a chunky boy. Damn, boy, he's thick.
Okay.
But, I mean, I never really watched the old Godzillas. So, I started Godzilla basically with the 99 Matthew Broderick one.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I like the newer ones. I want to see, what is it, Godzilla X or whatever, the other new one that just came out.
-1.
Yes, that one. Thank you. God, I'm fucking.
Which I believe we will be able to rent or purchase on Amazon June 26th.
Okay. But the ones from the Godzilla from the MonsterVerse, I just fucking love.
Okay.
Like his personality, I guess, if you want to say it, is just that of fuck you.
All right.
I say personality with air quotes because he technically cannot have a personality or any sort of humanized.
He's not allowed
reactions
to.
Because, well, we almost lost the rights to the Godzilla and the MonsterVerse because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they decided to give him a moment where he smirked at King Kong after kicking his ass. And Toho went, hey, no, bet.
It's another one of those things where Japan doesn't trust Hollywood because it shouldn't.
No, because it 100% stems from my favorite Godzilla being so far off the mark.
Yeah. So I have 3 favorite Godzillas, or 3 favorite.
Of course
kaiju.
you do, because you can never fucking settle on one.
What? I'm bad at picking one. So shut up, all right? But
I'm telling your wife you're bad at picking one.
No, not that. I'm just talking about when it comes to other things, all right?
I think when it comes to 2 of them.
Shut up. But honestly, one of my favorite kaiju from the original era was a creature that you don't ever see ever again, except for once in one movie, which was Titanosaurus. And it's because the name was incorrect. They literally heard the name and were like, let's use that for the title of a kaiju, without even knowing that it was a gigantic sauropod. But it's a giant. It's essentially what and not to reveal spoilers, but this was a kaiju revealed in the trailer. But it's what Tiamat is based off of originally. And then the other one I absolutely love is originally known as Creature X, later named Gigan. One of my favorite battles in the Heisei era of Godzilla. And of course, finally though, would have to be Mothra in the MonsterVerse.
Mothra in the MonsterVerse was really nice. I wish they would have kept her around longer.
Yes.
I will say, There is one old one that you guys talking reminded me of that I really liked.
Oh?
Space Godzilla with those giant crystal shoulder pads.
Ooh, yes.
I've seen pictures of that.
Although Space Godzilla is an asshole. Just saying.
I mean, this Godzilla is an asshole, so.
True, but I'm just okay. In the comic books, because Space Godzilla actually got a segment in the most recent comic books of Godzilla, where he literally kills another kaiju, finds an egg, finds the baby that hatched from the egg, looks at it, and then just smashes it and laughs.
Okay then.
He's an asshole. And Tiamat, yes, was based both on Manda and Titanosaurus. There was a little bit of overlap with those, but Manda was used also for the Leviathan that you see in the movie as well as a few other kaiju.
My favorite Mothra is actually the two baby Mothras from the old series.
Aw, the twins!
That literally beat up Godzilla's enemy by literally cocooning their eggs.
And they didn't even need to be Mothra to do it.
Okay.
Because guess what happens when you actually hold something still when Godzilla wants to murder it?
I mean, we saw...
Atomic breath.
Yeah.
So, I guess your favorite kaiju kind of leads into the next fun question that I came up with.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite kaiju moment?
Ooh.
I mean, I have two, especially sticking with the Godzilla, the MonsterVerse, and all that fun shit. And technically, no, I do have two.
Okay. I want to hear Oda's first.
You already heard one of them.
Which was
the twins.
Oh, okay.
The other one is when Godzilla gave that alien monster the kiss of death.
Which
when it held its mouth open, the
Muto
from the reboots.
The Muto.
The alien, the smaller male and the bigger female.
Oh, okay.
The Muto.
The Mutos, okay.
And he literally grabbed this thing, opens its mouth, and just atomic press down.
That was a badass scene.
Yeah, and like Absolute says, the Mutos. Yeah. But so my two, I have an old one and I have a new one.
Okay.
Old one is when King Kong shoves just ramrods the fucking tree down Godzilla's throat. No.
You're talking about from the original Kong versus Godzilla.
Which is hilarious because they actually referenced that in the reboots. The scene where Kong shoves the axe down his throat was supposed to be in reference to the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no trees big enough to do that with.
No.
In this universe.
Actually, there are, but you'd have to go to the northwest of this country.
Oh, the Redwoods.
Yeah, the Redwoods. But
that'd be a travesty if they fought in the Redwoods. That'd be so bad.
The thing is, I actually think Kong would like it. Because how big the trees are. He'd actually be able to be a regular monkey.
He might feel a little bit more at home.
Nah, Kong's still too tall to swing from a redwood.
He might be able to tickle his balls with it.
My second favorite one is more of a implied scene, but after fucking Godzilla kicks Kong's ass, stomps on his chest and all that fun shit, and then Kong comes back and they kick the shit out of Mecha Godzilla, and Godzilla's just walking into the fucking ocean. He turns around and looks at Kong. He's like, "Fuck you, I win," and then just dipped into the ocean and went away. Because I don't give a shit what anybody says. In Godzilla vs. Kong, Godzilla won. Again and again and again. Because Kong's a bitch.
Yep. Also, Absolute Zero says Muto's actual name Jinshin Mushi is ironic because they aren't insects. Huh. Are they more reptilian than insect?
No, they're just 4-legged instead of 6, and they don't have the same body proportion.
That's true. Okay. But they are.
They're inspired by.
Yeah.
What did Muto stand for? Mutated.
I don't remember. Is that you're gonna have to look that one up on the Google machine, sir.
I used to know it.
While he's looking that up, I'll tell you my favorite kaiju moments. Which
Oh, never mind. I was wrong.
what?
Massive unidentified terrestrial organism.
There you go. That's what a Muto is.
Yeah, that's what it was. I completely fucking forgot.
But yeah, my two favorites. First favorite is, once again, I'm gonna bring up again, is the fight versus Godzilla and Gigan. Not the first one, but the second time they come into contact. Cause that was one, better filmed, and two, it was just a really cool instance of Godzilla versus Gigan. Second one though would have to be, okay, I can't reveal the second one, so I'm gonna go with my alternative one. So the alternative one would have to be the scene in the King of All Monsters where Godzilla and Mothra are fighting against Ghidorah. One, I love the fact that they brought back the symbiosis in that scene between the two, and
Yeah.
Godzilla just eating Ghidorah and obliterating the face as he's eating it is just badass.
I have an honorable mention that's just funny.
Oh?
Chef, do you remember the interesting decision that was made for Godzilla's original mode of long-distance travel? He would lift up off the ground and use his atomic breath to launch his ass.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And the music they played when they did it was hysterical.
It was supposed to be uplifting, okay?
It's like, I don't know what's funnier, what they just did to physics, or the fact that they turned the atomic breath basically into a smoke machine.
It was hilarious. It was like, if you look up that scene and you watch it now, it's like watching a fucking clown.
I mean, there's also that happens a lot when you go back and watch the old shit. I mean, the Godzilla drop kick,
or
that's literally just the toy going sideways across the screen.
Yep. Or the Godzilla spine attack. Literally flips upside down unnecessarily to do this attack. Let's see, they could introduce Zilla to the Monsterverse with mimicry like the Coral Snake or the False Coral Snake. So Zilla, which is the Godzilla that Chef here loves, actually not in the movies, but in the comic books, exists as a being within that Monsterverse, and is part of Godzilla's little group of fuckers.
Actually, in one of the movies, not the current King of the Monsters, but a previous one they had where aliens were involved, back when it was still when the Japanese made, Toho bought the rights to Zilla so that he could have Godzilla throw him into a freaking arena and blow him up. It was like he bought all this money for a 30-second scene just to insult Zilla because he hated it so much.
I mean, again, I love Zilla just because of the aspect of it was a normal aquatic iguana that was in the area when we went, hey, let's play with atomic bombs. And then it went, hey, I am now mutated like a motherfucker.
And oh god.
If it was just called Zilla from the start, 90% of that creature's crap would not exist. The fact that it's like how many times we talked about, if you use a name, you have a standard.
Yeah.
If you don't follow that standard, you shouldn't have used the name.
And I would have.
I mean,
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say I completely understand that, because I am the biggest proponent of don't get away from the source material.
I mean,
That
if
is-
they called it Zilla, a Godzilla themed, a Godzilla story.
Yeah.
That would have been so much
I mean,
better,
again-
actually.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
all they would have had to do is change the title.
that's the one piece of media, I think, where I enjoy that version more than I enjoy the originals, the source material.
I will
Also,
say
that your first-
that I have to agree with that, mainly because I enjoyed it because of how well it was written. It was fun.
The story was amazing.
Yeah.
Great movie.
It was a good
They also
movie.
They also need to fire their marketing director.
That's the only person
Yeah.
who fucked up there, isn't it?
No, do you know Do you know the reason why that movie flopped so hard?
They released the toys after the movie, right?
Oh God, yeah. They did
It's
everything
not-
wrong.
Yeah, the creators refused to allow anything but images of the feet to be shown on any media, any merchandise, anything, because it was such a new and creative monster that he didn't want any images to be seen until people went to the theaters. So he wouldn't allow for any of the toys, and they bought the toy because normally you sell the toys because the kids want to play with the monster before the movie comes out.
It builds
Well,
interest.
He didn't want that to happen, and because he was being a secretive dum-dum, he literally lost out. I think that it was 60 to 80% of the toy sales.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bad marketing decision overall. And yes, absolute zero. The introduction of Zilla to the Monsterverse, or at least in the comic books, was in Godzilla Rulers of the Earth, and Final Wars was also part of it too. And definitely would recommend it. And yeah, most of Japan actually enjoys that movie. No, not a lot of Japanese people that I've known of actually don't have a problem with it. It's just the creators within Toho, specifically Heisei, the director Heisei, hated it. He's the only one, though, is the proponent that absolutely hated it, though.
And the thing is, if they had just changed the name, and I really wish people would do like this story, like what they do with Star Wars now.
Great example.
Rogue One literally told this excellent story. Great characters, everything. You had a couple cameos from minor characters, because in all honesty, Tarkin was a minor character.
Yeah, and they made a whole book off of him.
Multiple books.
And he became very
that
important
movie-
through those books.
I know, but my point is that you had these minor characters and all of this stuff, and it's just Rogue One, a Star Wars story. And it did so well because of it. Because they weren't relying on the stars or the story. It was just a story set as one of the cogs in the wheels. That's why I think Rebels did so well.
I loved Rebels, too.
Yeah, because they weren't the heroes. They were just one of the cogs that made it possible for the heroes to do what they did.
Right. One of the many proponents that essentially created the foundation of the rebellion. But then again, there's also the what Ezra did. Because if it wasn't for Ezra, we'd still have one of the most dangerous people in the Empire.
Chris ass. Because one thing a lot of people don't realize about Thrawn, he was one of the very few people Vader honestly respected.
And trusted. Like,
And vice
Vader
versa. So
never once interfered with Thrawn's plans because he trusted him so thoroughly.
he's the one who, like the reason why the second generation TIE Defender was so badass is because he looked at Vader and said, "Hey, can you test pilot this for me and tell me what you think about it?" Vader gave him suggestions,
Shush.
and he implemented them without question.
Right? And of course,
That's
you know,
so if he was around, imagine how dangerous Vader would have been.
yeah. And you know, we also have to remember that Vader, aka technically Anakin, was one of the best pilots of his time. To not take his information on building a ship would have been folly. Let me rehydrate with my Always Disrespect Your Trolls water bottle. Now available on the AFG brand store.
Hey, Faja,
Yes,
you have been live for over an hour, sir.
I think it's time for a break then, because I have to pee.
Same.
Alright. So let's take a small be right back. I do appreciate everybody that's been here on Twitch hanging out for today's Bunch of Goofs livecast podcast where we talk about Kaiju today. And I love this subject. I really do. But yeah, I gotta go pee. Chef's gotta go pee. And we're gonna take a small break. So we'll be right back.
Well, hey there, everybody. Mr. Announcer and
Random Skull?
And we're here to let you know that Asian Pasha Gamer also streams live on Twitch 5 days a week, and sometimes on YouTube.
And if you want to continue to support Asian Father Gamer, check out the links for his Twitch and his YouTube, all in the link tree.
That's right. Check out those links.
Hey everyone, I'm Caleb, or as you know me as Hey I'm Chef. I am a somewhat content creator. I've kind of taken a break on making the actual content and just doing stuff here with Alan or Asian Fasha Gamer. We have Monday, Bunch of Goofs, the livecast podcast that him, Oda, and myself do. And every other Friday we have the D&D podcast that we are putting together. So if you want to see this face on anything right now, it's with Alan stuff, or you can follow me on all my socials at hey_I'm_chef. Until then, I will see you guys later. Have fun with the content. Peace.
Alrighty then, everybody. We are back from break. Appreciate
We're
y'all
back?
hanging back. Yes, we're back.
Thank you for watching our stream. You can catch all our content at AsianDaddyGamer.com.
Although, that is not Asian Daddy Gamer, but AsianFosterGamer.com is a future project.
Actually, I would get both of them just so people get confused.
Oh, good God. Yeah,
Either
no.
that or-
You know what? I could get Asian Daddy Gamer and have it supersede the link to Asian Fasha Gamer. Just anytime someone does that, they're like, what the fuck?
No, what you do is you have a quick screen that goes, "You dirty, dirty boy," and then have it go to your website.
Either that or have it do the fucking GIF from Jurassic Park. You didn't say the magic word.
Or, you know, the old YouTube meme.
You were trying to watch porn. You get My Little Pony now.
Or the one you got. Hey, everybody.
No, or you could just, make an OnlyFans, but make one of the joke ones.
Yeah, that is still the plan. Let's see, new development. N64 games are now being recompiled into PC games. Cool.
Hell yeah. If only, I don't know, fucking Nintendo would offer the N64 games for free instead of buying the fucking subscription.
And also, if they would offer, some of the other N64 games that apparently they don't remember, like Jet Force Gemini. What the fuck?
Or if they would, I don't know, put the ability to port your Pokemon into fucking Pokemon Stadium. Or here's an idea. Bring back the fucking first 3 generations of fucking Pokemon so that we can play it.
Yeah.
Oh, that brings me up to my next question.
Oh?
Can Pokemon be Kaiju?
The mega evolutions can certainly.
I mean, not only that, but also remember in the anime, the first time you see Dragonite, he's taller than a fucking lighthouse.
Yes. Well, okay. Keep in mind, one, that's actually a that is a exception. That particular Dragonite is a Guardian Dragonite that one appears in the manga later on, but is an anomaly. They are the oldest Dragonite that still is alive, and that's why they're so.
Well,
huge.
I mean, then there's also
Pikachu do something to turn himself into like the biggest cat nightmare ever.
no, not that I remember. There was the episode with the giant Jigglypuff fighting the giant Gengar.
And the giant Kadabra, giant Alakazam.
Yes.
Yes, those I would consider kaiju. I really would.
Gyarados that evolved from the giant Magikarp.
Did they ever show the Gyarados that evolved from the giant
It
Magikarp?
was flipping huge.
Okay, Shaggy, calm down there.
Like zoinks!
Like zoinks! It was freaking huge, man!
Well,
Well, I'm glad you. Nah. Let's see. You see his dorsal fin. That's it. I mean, you still see it, and it's huge.
Ooh, other media.
Oh.
One Piece. The Sea Kings.
Definitely. Oh, definitely.
I don't know much about anything about One Piece.
I wish they referenced the Sea Kings more in the show. Do they in the anime, or do they in the manga at all?
So in the manga, the Sea Kings do get mentioned a little bit, but Oda specifically stated that the Sea Kings were never really meant to be anything more than an allusion to the era of, finding giant monsters in the ocean as a sailor.
Right.
But that's all it was really meant to be. He didn't want to really expand too much on them, so he didn't really do that.
Absolute Zero had a good question.
I was actually gonna bring that. I was gonna bring that up earlier.
Would
too.
you consider Digimon kaiju? No, for
No, 'cause
one
none of-
specific reason.
Size?
No, because there's actually some that would be considered in size, but it's because they're data, they're technology.
Yeah. That falls out of our classification of organic.
No, technically, don't they become organic when they come into the real world?
Nope.
Doesn't their data? I've seen it where they.
Nope.
No, because the data when they go away, the data they reconstitute into data.
They're not biological when they come into the physical world. They simply are physical, but that doesn't change them into biological. Just because they can eat doesn't mean that they're biological. What they do is they extrapolate the energy from the food that they eat, but it is inefficient. Nothing about Digimon is biological. Period.
So, only Digimon I've actually watched was the first rendition of it, and I never even really finished it because I was more of a Pokemon. I'm a Pokemon and Metabots.
Yeah.
Does Digimon take place in the real world or the digital world?
Both. It just depends.
Okay.
So originally in the first arc, they go into the digital world. In the second arc, they come into the physical world. But that's only because there is an event of convergence where the reality of the physical world and the digital world are converging. And there's a space in which Digimon can actualize in the physical space. And that's always been the case for Digimon in every single instance where they show up in the physical world.
Okay. And Zero, I mean, technically, they probably could be considered kaiju if you take away our personal classification of organic.
Hey, don't include me in your two. To me, they are.
I said our. Our.
Mm-hmm.
Not our.
It's still kind of confusing. That's just really confusing.
Yeah, it's literally just the fact that my difference is one.
Seriously confusing.
I actually think if they're alive, no matter their origin, they can be classified as kaiju. That's my personal opinion.
Okay.
I mean, again, everybody has their own personal one.
Yep.
And also, I don't care if it's Digimon, Pokemon, Godzilla, Gamera, Ultraman, any of them. You have two giant monsters beating the crap out of each other. I'm there with popcorn.
Yes.
Correct. And Zero, we got into that a little bit earlier, like organic or not. But again, a monster is a mechanical construct, a monster.
Also, ultimately,
Otis says yes. We say no, just because it's personal classification.
Yeah, it's subjective. But ultimately, though, the classification of kaiju is dictated by those that use it in their media. That's the only people that can actually determine the classification.
Unfortunately, there's no, yes, there is a standardized definition of kaiju, but the standardized definition is subjective from person to person.
And to the media that it's in.
It's one of those it's one of the most infuriating parts about kaiju. Or, I mean, there's a couple different subjects like that too.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because there's certain people who would consider Zilla not to be a kaiju because it's actually an animal.
Yeah.
Like, it has to have superpowers to be a kaiju.
Right. Like, in all Zilla is a radioactive, mutated animal.
And before anybody says, he's got breath powers, no, he doesn't. That was only introduced in the cartoon.
Yeah, in the movie, he's roaring, the fucking cars get lifted up, and one hits the other in explosion.
And it's because his breath is just bad, too. He's just got bad breath.
Basically, his breath is flammable, but he doesn't spark it himself.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And you gotta think, I feel bad for Matthew Broderick's character. He got the full force of that, like, all in his face.
I mean, even the pieces of fucking fish and shit just...
Oh, I have a really funny would you rather. Would you rather get roared at by Zilla or farted at by Clifford?
Whoa, dude!
I would...
And my wife just went, where do you come up with this shit?
I would probably rather take the roar from Zilla.
I think I would survive the roar more than I would survive the fart.
I mean, fucking Matthew Broderick's character, Nick Totopoulos, fucking, he handled it like a fucking champ.
And he didn't even puke. I would have expected Mr. Worm Doctor to not have that much of a constitution, but damn, did he take that rancid roar.
Another fun thing about that movie that I fucking love, like a little small thing, and we'll get to you, Oda, real quick, but the smallest little detail that I fucking loved about that movie, because of my last name, because I felt it every fucking time, even at my senior night for high school football, my own teacher pronounced my last name wrong. But the Nick Ta, they call him the worm guy. Nobody can say his fucking last name.
I was actually going to say something, and hopefully, Faja, are you actually aware of what the smell is from the type of soil he was getting those worms from?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
He's used to stinky shit.
I know he's used to it. That's probably why. But still, I mean, it's a little extra because there's like rotting fish and
not only that, but not only is it stinky ass soil and shit, but he also electrified it.
Yeah.
Which we know this burning fucking electricity shit does not smell the greatest.
Ozone is one of the stinkiest things on the planet.
Which, if you've never experienced that smell, be
Go
glad.
touch a car battery.
No, don't do that. Don't tell people to do it.
Considering the ways you actually need to make it is dangerous. Because
I mean,
ways to do it safely are expensive.
just whatever you do, go stand in a puddle and touch a car battery.
No! Stop
Nothing
it!
bad can happen. Nothing
Bad
bad can happen.
ideas! Do not listen to Chef. This is just a general warning announcement. Do not listen to Chef's advice when it comes to dangerous shit.
That's a period.
He's
Hey,
about,
no.
he's about to just
I'm
watch
very-
you make the bad TikToks. That's what he wants to see.
Yes.
With Chef, it's when he says not to do it. That's when you should do it. When he says, "Oh, I'm not a nice person. I don't help my friends. I'm
don't
not
do
a
nothing."
good friend." Then he's being honest. When he goes and gives you advice on go and play with electricity while standing in water, no.
Mhm.
He's opposite man.
So I shouldn't tell you guys that I jumped my truck back when I had it, while it was in a downpour.
The
What?
thing is, it's
What the f-
actually relatively safe because rain is actually a horrid. It's actually It's actually an insulator. Pure rainwater. Pure water is actually not conductive.
Yeah,
It's
but
all of the
rainwater's
matter in the water that actually turns it conductive.
mostly salts and stuff like that.
I
But
will say
rain
this.
is not rain is not pure water though.
No. But
it doesn't have the solid matter that's required. It doesn't have the salt, the sugar. That's left behind when it's evaporated.
It does when the puddle that you're standing in is over your boots.
Huh?
The puddle I was standing in was over the toes of my boots.
see, I really wish I could say that I am surprised, but knowing you and your brother, I'm not.
Listen, I got the common sense. I just refuse to use it. And again, my go-to excuse for my entire life is I am really smart about the stupid shit that I do.
That's a great subject to dive into next week. Let's get back to giant monsters.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, dude.
No, because that is actually what we want to talk about next week. That is actually a giant yes when it comes to that subject.
No, it's true. It is going to be a big part of that. And for those of you who are wondering, because I want to allude to it, so hopefully everybody be excited for next week's episode of Bunch of Goofs, we are going to be talking about gaming and ADHD in general and how it affects people. And not just ADHD, but just neurodivergence in general.
What about
So-
does being stupid go into that? Because I got that covered.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Shut up, you intelligent son of a bitch. I actually had a kaiju question.
Oh?
Because I'm trying to think of one. I know they exist, but I can't remember them. Plant kaiju.
Biolante!
Did you just say picante?
No,
'Cause
Biolante.
Your mic cut out for the first
Sorry.
part of that.
Biolante is literally algae as an experiment that was given the DNA of Godzilla and turned into a kaiju.
I was thinking about the plant from Mass Effect 1.
Oh, that works too.
Because
Or-
its root system was the entire planet.
I
mean-
thought it was the planet, wasn't it?
No, it covered the entire planet. It wasn't the actual planet.
Okay.
The thing is, this thing could mind control a kaiju.
I was thinking more like an ego thing, but that's still fucking scary.
I almost brought up an example, but it's not plant based.
What?
Gravemind.
The Gravemind? Oh! Yeah, technically
From
not.
Halo?
No, that's not plant-based, but... Huh.
I mean, Gravemind's fucking huge, and he's a monster. I mean, he does take over an entire ship and then most of a planet.
Yeah.
Well, most of a ring.
Yeah.
Not really a planet.
Let's see. Rose plus Godzilla plus girl DNA equals Biolante. I feel really sorry for the girl that was used for that experiment.
Oh, don't tell me they went Full Metal Alchemist with it.
Oh yeah, they did. No. Biolante is that. It's the most fucked up experiment in Godzilla in Monsterverse, other than Destroya, because Destroya, oh good god, is fucked up.
Random meme I saw you made me think of. It was a guy that actually said that the Sewing Life Alchemist was actually not that bad, and that it's literally a screen of multiple people like getting fake weapons together going after this guy.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
I've seen that one. Yeah, it's the TikTok
you see-
where
did-
it's a bunch of stitches, right?
Yeah. Did you see the one, like, this isn't really... Audrey 2 wouldn't be a kaiju, Okana, just because she doesn't fit the size requirement. Maybe...
She could have gotten
maybe-
big enough, maybe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe if she was left, to her own devices, she might have been. But we don't really know.
The ladies from Dude, Where's My Car?
Yes. I think I'm gonna have to
Damn,
say
that's
yes.
big.
That's how big. No, we can't.
And then...
That ride.
I want to go on that ride.
Death by
Me
Snoo
too.
Snoo.
But
Shibi?
Shibby.
What?
I just have either of you ever played Xenogears?
I've
No.
played the first and second one.
No, I'm talking about there's only one of the Xenogear.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking about
Xenoblade-
Xenosaga. I'm thinking about
Xenosaga,
Xenosaga. Sorry.
Or are you talking about Xenoblade?
Xenogear, one of the scenes, all of the mechs were damaged, so your fluffy companion decided that he just happened to have Rita's wand up his ass and grew to the size of the mechs and beat the crap out of the enemy mechs because he suddenly can turn himself into a giant monster for budget cuts. Was not explained really well.
Okana, you're talking to several people who love. Well, I mean, you already know your husband, but you're talking to two people who love nostalgic movies.
Oh, Rick Moranis was my favorite character.
Audrey 2 when we're done.
Huh?
Wait, what?
I don't know what the hell it is.
You don't.
She's
What?
gonna fix that later tonight, right, dear?
You've never watched Little Shop of Horrors?
Not all the way through.
Oh,
Audrey's the
man.
plant.
Wait, that's the talking plant? That's Audrey?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's Audrey too.
I didn't know the plant's name.
Okay. That you know what?
Bad, Oda. Bad.
Honey, this is the wrong streaming site for that.
Oh my.
We need to go to AsianDaddyGamer.com.
Oh my.
Daddy.
OdaDaddyGamer.com.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Actually, only because of a very simple reason. I don't like calling me daddy is just really weird because I can't have kids.
OdaUncle.com.
Oh, let's see. Amhaluk
What are you
is
doing, Steph, bro?
another plant kaiju. I don't know if I know that one.
Half the crap poison ivy pulls out of her ass.
I mean, that wouldn't really be kaiju.
He's from the MonsterVerse. I'm gonna have to look him up. Let's see. I barely watch movies, and nothing I reference he gets. Well, I'm sorry. Okana, I
I don't watch a lot of movies either.
You made the choice to marry him.
yes, actually, yeah. In the words of Jim Carrey, you married him.
That's a laugh.
So, I got another fun one. In the world of Pacific Rim,
Oh,
would you want to be a Jaeger pilot and fight the kaiju?
Who's my partner?
that's a good question, isn't it?
Well,
The three of us controlling a Jaeger together.
You do realize
the
we would
most-
end up like kicking ourselves in our own nuts with our left foot while punching ourselves in the back somehow. That's how
Okay,
that would
so-
go.
Actually, I think the three of us would synergize really well. And we would literally be pulling Three Stooges level crap. Like, we'd literally take the nose, bonk it on the head, like, oh, look, the weak spot's between its legs. I have been waiting for this. As a giant plane comes out of the knee, and we just.
It's a
Like,
fucking
yeah, the
Pacific
Pacific
Rim
movie.
with Toon Force.
Yeah.
But I mean,
we have to have go-go and gadget hands. We need extendo punchy hands.
well, so back to the question though. Most Jaeger pilots didn't get their partners until they went into training.
I thought some of them were brothers.
Mm-mm.
No, some of them were. There was the twins. There was the ones that actually did Gypsy, but and then there was the triplets that were from China. But
No,
the ones.
there was only two of them.
Other son, the people who were the Australian super high tech one.
Yeah,
Yeah, but his son wasn't his first partner.
it was a second partner.
Just
And then there's also Cherno Alpha, who's the Russian one, and they weren't related at all.
Mm-mm. I mean, just look at Charlie Hunnam's character and the Asian chick.
Yeah.
They found compatibility, just when they started sparring in the dojo.
Let's be fair, they trauma bonded.
Yeah, there's that too. I mean, if you had Marshall as your dad, an adoptive dad,
Weren't they married? I don't think they were married. They might have been, but I didn't remember them mentioning them in a relationship.
they didn't mention it. They might have in the comics, which I would love to get into the fucking Pacific Rim comics.
They're really cool, and the novel is really interesting to read. Because it tells a lot about the first scientist who first was actually researching the kaiju and developing the Jaeger program.
I got another fun one for you. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Okay, only one of those tomatoes could be considered a kaiju.
Yeah, but it was there.
Please tell me you remember Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. You make me sad.
I mean, Oda didn't know Audrey too, so
That's true. Yup, I mean...
I know Little Shop of Horrors. I know the little singing plant. I forgot what the freaking name of the plant was.
What kind of kaiju was he? So Ghidorah is actually a mutation that was part of a frog. There is actually amphibian DNA in Ghidorah, which is why it developed in the way that it did, but also a lot of pollution. A lot of pollution. Like enough to make China in the 90s feel sad.
I got a question for you. You just made me think of this one. The giant blob of monsters that absorb pollution or absorb trash. That usually it's used as a giant monster that is an amalgamation of pollution. Would those be considered a kaiju?
Depends.
They're technically living creatures, but they're mainly living creatures that got big because they ate garbage.
It's gonna depend on, I guess, their origins. What were they originally? Like Ghidorah, which is actually what kind of the creature that you're describing, originated from a tadpole.
Algae.
Huh?
The one I'm thinking of, somebody was screwing with algae to try to get it to eat trash.
Well, that actually originated from a life form.
Yeah.
So
But how
garbage, so it's kind of
how big did it get?
that's true.
a couple warehouse districts.
Then yeah,
Yeah.
kaiju.
That kind of sounds like the Blob. If anybody remembers that old movie.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Actually, a spoof on it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking was the Blob, because the Blob didn't really get that big in that movie.
Yeah, there's at least two different. I can't remember the name of the shows, but it was two different times where they had this giant blob monster that was covering buildings, and it got to the point where it was eating buildings and stuff, and they had to take it out with a special thing. Now we have this giant trash thing to clean up. It was the token environmental episode that they had to put into some of these shows in the 90s.
Ah. I mean, I personally, because a lot of those blob-like things came from something biological, would kind of consider them a kaiju. Kinda. Depending on how big they got. and their origins.
Just as long as they weren't like Godzilla's snot that became sentient.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. But they've done that. They've done that.
Of course they have.
Godzilla snotted on algae, and the algae ate the snot, and it turned it into a blob. So technically, it wasn't the snot, but it was an algae that was mutated by the radioactive snot that it ate.
Just imagine how radioactive Godzilla's shit must be.
Again, that fucking that scene from Jurassic Park. Wow, that's a big pile of shit.
Oh my god, could you imagine what would happen if somebody was like, let's use this new weapon. He avoids it. Uh-oh, he has nasal allergies.
Or even better, could you imagine being in a sub tracking Godzilla through the ocean?
Oh no.
And he pulls what the video of that walrus does in the fucking, or the polar bear at the zoos in the water tank. It just shits, and it's just a giant brown cloud. We have lost visual. Why? Because it's shit.
We've run into something.
Greenish? Would it be like greenish or now pinkish brown?
I don't know, but there would be boulder-sized pieces of, like, no, not boulder, glacier-sized pieces of shit in the water. Imagine trying to avoid that in a sub. Or trying to explain to your CO why there's this giant fucking dent in the sub. And it smells bad.
Sir, what the hell happened to my sub? Well, sir, we hit a deer. How'd you hit a deer in the middle of the ocean? It's better than what we actually hit.
What do you...
Oh my god, could you imagine if you're following with a submarine right behind Godzilla and suddenly Godzilla decided to stop, but you didn't?
Oh god, that sub would be crushed.
No, I'm thinking about a sub suppository.
Oh. No. Why? Why?
And then Godzilla farts it back out. And they're like, how do we explain this to the boss?
Zero, that's not 100% true. He also eats Ghidorah sashimi.
And I think I've seen him I think I've also seen him eat fish.
I don't think he has to eat, but I think he enjoys it. Like, he can live off radiation, but he still enjoys eating.
You know what?
Yeah,
Is that why he's so big? Is that why he's thick?
Damn boy, he thick.
No, he ate half of its neck and only destroyed. Like, you saw him chewing.
Yeah, they're...
Could you imagine a kaiju that is basically a kraken, but for some reason he's wearing a chef hat and he has knives and he becomes fucking Godzilla's chef?
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, it's the only...
I thought you were about to go into some weird Chinese, cooking show spoof battle versus Godzilla. Like, what's going on? This isn't Iron Godzilla.
You know, they still have... So, a little bit of a sidetrack. They still haven't released a season 2 of the new Iron Chef show, and it's pissing me off. It's been like 2 years.
Oh, man. I don't know if they're going to. I think they stopped.
They did, which sucks.
Is the mystery ingredient going to be the deer that hit the submarine?
No. No. Let's see. This yakisoba is why I'm thickums. I thought Iron Chef moved to Netflix.
Iron Chef did move to Netflix. They did one season with new Iron Chefs, but still the same chairman. Alton Brown is there, and they added a new chick, who's another celebrity chef, as the co-host.
Didn't they replace Mario Batali?
Yeah, they replaced all the Iron Chefs.
Oh, okay. Even Morimoto?
Yeah, they replaced them all with newer, like, current celebrity chefs and stuff.
Morimoto was my favorite Iron Chef.
Same. I hated Bobby Flay. I was so happy to see him walk off in the middle of his fucking challenge.
Yeah, no, Bobby Flay's a dickbag.
I hate Bobby Flay.
I've met him, and he's a dickbag in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is okay. Back to Kaiju.
Yes, let's
Like,
get-
okay. Oh, here's a question: what celebrity you think was, if their ego became a creature, would become a Kaiju?
Taylor Swift.
Donald Trump.
Not doing political shit.
Fine. Ego as an actor.
Well, celebrity.
Celebrity. Whose ego would be big enough to be a kaiju?
1 second, just so you know, Taylor Swift does not actually have that much of an ego. She's just that damn good at what she does. Dude, she's in charge of all the business decisions that have made her money. She's allowed to be proud of herself.
You can still be humble.
And here's the thing. Just
Yeah,
because she's done all of those things doesn't mean we have to like her.
I mean, half of the NFL season was fucking pictures and videos of her. Not even the game. Just
Oh
her.
god, oh god, you. Thanks. I really like Taylor Swift.
Wait, now that the season's over, is she still dating Travis Kelce?
Probably.
God.
Fine, since Oda doesn't like my choice, Mariah Carey.
I know, it was the fact that I disagreed with your choice.
No, you don't like my choice. I see how it is. I got the eye roll! Yay!
Yeah. You know what? Still, here's my choice though. Jeff Goldblum.
His ego's not that bad.
I'm not
Not
saying
anymore.
sorry, I'm not saying it as like a visceral ego, but he does have a really big ego. Either
No, he has
that
a big personality. There's a difference.
or Neil deGrasse.
Neil Tyson deGrasse?
Yeah.
Or deGrasse Tyson?
deGrasse, yeah.
I'm trying to remember the names. I cannot remember the names of the people I'm thinking about now, and it's pissing me off.
Who?
I
Describe.
don't know. The brains are going through my head now, dude.
Or
Describe.
Hit me.
Describe, sir.
Yes.
Describe.
face, peach features, something, movie.
Brain just shut off, guys.
Error 404. Brain.exe not found.
Black Hawk Down.
Bill
Did
Nye.
he freeze?
I think we broke Oda. He broke himself on his own question
Yeah.
in our shenanigans with the fucking answers.
We're just not helping. We're not helping at all.
No.
No.
Bill Nye.
P. Diddy.
Most of sports.
Sports? Yes.
Athletes. Oh, Vince McMahon.
Or Dennis Rodman.
Fucking Logan or Jake Paul, if you want to call them athletes.
And I would not call them athletes.
Isn't Jake Paul the guy that literally just decided to, hey, not only am I going to try to pick a fight with one of the greatest boxers of all time, but
Yes.
I'm going to insult his family while I'm doing it?
Yeah,
His
no.
dead- His dead daughter, yeah.
Yeah, no. That comment that he made about his daughter, no. That is, like, if I ever had a chance to have respect for JP, I'm going to call him JP because he's a fucker. It's gone. Long gone. Buried under 6 feet of shit.
I personally would rather get hit by a Mack truck doing
Than Tyson?
safety than Tyson sparring with me, trying not to hurt me.
So I know this doesn't have anything to do with Kaiju, but it does have to do with the subject that we're currently talking about. Did you see the Netflix press conference for the fight?
Yes.
No.
So there was a reporter who made the mistake of inadvertently insulting Tyson because he stood up and he's like, "So, Jake, you want to be considered an athlete, a top athlete or whatever, one of the top boxers in the world. When are you gonna fight somebody that's worth a damn and not a gimmick fight?"
Oh shit!
And the dude looks at Tyson and goes, "I think he just called Mike Tyson a gimmick fight." And Tyson went the fuck off. And the dude tried to explain. He's like, it's a diss to fucking Jake Paul because he hasn't fought fucking anyone. And Tyson's gonna be 58 at the time of the fight, and Tyson just fucking gone because he just got called a gimmick fight. Which, let's be honest, it's a gimmick fight.
Yeah, because it's literally there's no chance. I'm sorry. If it's ever gonna be a serious fight, Tyson will destroy Jake Paul.
Oh, it is a serious fight.
The number of people who actually think JP is gonna win is hysterical because they're all much younger. They're all much younger than us and have no idea what it's like for my father to buy a pay-per-view, and as the bell rang, he had to run and grab his pop real quick, and by the time he came back, the fight was over because Mike Tyson 1-2-3'd the guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, fast.
Just
not only that, so what was I gonna say?
Mike Tyson is a fucking kaiju. I think freaking Godzilla would go, whoa, I don't want no smoke.
We're good. Mike Tyson, we're good.
Like, it is so fucked. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. It is a real fight now. The league in charge of all the boxing fights has made it a sanctioned fight.
Okay, so it's gonna be a sanctioned fight. Yeah, Jake Paul's dead.
It's a sanctioned fight following normal boxing rules. So none of the headgear, tagging in his brother, fucking performance enhancing drugs and all that shit.
Yeah, no.
It is a legitimate fight now.
JP's going down. Baby boy JP's going down.
I am contemplating, if Netflix charges for it, I am contemplating paying for it because I want to see this shit.
The only thing is that even Netflix might have a problem with that visual because it might literally go full Fallout and just have the head.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, just go. Like, if you don't know how bad and how terrifying Mike Tyson is in a fight, go watch the highlights, just the highlights for the Evander Holyfield fight. Fuck that.
Yeah.
The fact that you can put like 5 or 6 of Mike Tyson's full fights in a 3-minute TikTok.
And
you can put more than that in there.
Right? And all of them, you can see. No, we don't want to fuck with this guy.
Now, granted, we are talking about how many years ago? But his sparring sessions now are more intense than the sparring sessions were back then.
Also, he's more experienced now, and the mother effer insulted his child.
He also has gained a bunch of weight.
Mm-hmm. And there's also the fact that each one of his personal trainers that fight with him have specifically stated, we can only stay there for so long. We can only do that for so long because he is a monster when it comes to fighting.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This might offend a certain number of people, but literally, Jake Paul is Japan, and he just went over to Pearl Harbor and pissed off Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
No, that's the level of dumb bullshit he did. Never should have said anything about his daughter.
With the equivalent of a nuclear bomb to his face.
I want to see this shit because I hate the Paul brothers. I really do.
I just want slow-mos of every punch that goes to JP's face.
And that's the thing, they're all going to his face because none of them are going to be body shots.
He's not going to bother.
No, I could actually see him doing that just as a feint to get him to drop his guard because he's an idiot, and Mike Tyson is he's Goku for boxing.
Yeah.
And he's a combat savant, and I can see him faking a body blow and then just drilling his head straight through the other side of the world.
So I just thought of something. I wish they were closer in. They're decently close in age, but I wish they were closer in weight class. I want to see Floyd Mayweather versus Mike Tyson. I hate Mayweather too.
You do realize that wouldn't go well for Mayweather, right?
I know. Why do you think I want to see it?
Like, Mayweather he's an athletic boxer, but he's a point boxer. That's all he does. He goes for the points. Put him against anybody who's a heavy hitter, his fucking ass is going down.
That's why I said I wish they were closer in fucking weight class.
It would have been.
It would be hilarious.
It would be.
You know, what would be hilarious is if this fight, being a sanctioned fight, brings Tyson out of retirement at 58 years old.
He'd be the oldest world heavyweight champion.
And the thing is, I can actually see at least half of his matches where the people walk in, surrender, take a knee, bow, and leave.
And then the other half, they leave in a stretcher.
Because that's one thing I don't think a lot of these new people, young kids, realize. Mike Tyson is from the era of he looks like that for a reason.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if he might be driven crazy enough to reenact the biting the ear off.
He actually hates that.
Keep in mind, he does hate it, but he made a joke out of it, remember? You saw the commercial, right? With him and Evander Holyfield come together with the mints that are in the shape of an ear.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm saying, I heard an interview when they was talking about Jake Paul and they brought that up. Like, I'm a lot older than that now. I'm a lot wiser. That person was an animal.
He was also on fucking coke.
That animal.
That's true. He did a lot of drugs back then.
Yeah, but basically he said, I was a rage beast back then, probably because of the drugs. Mm-hmm. Now he has learned to control it and harness it properly, which if you know anything about martial arts...
That makes him so much more dangerous.
Oh, yeah. I guarantee there are martial artists who don't want that smoke.
No, because here's the thing. I hate to bring this up because people are going to be stupid about it, but you ever watch Ip Man?
I've watched the first one, I think.
No.
So it is after the first one, it gets
I love the actor who plays him.
Oh yeah, Danny is fucking awesome. But after the first movie, it got really gimmicky, but one of my favorite scenes involves Mike Tyson in that movie. And it kind of shows in that fight that it doesn't matter if you're skilled. If you got a bulldozer for a hand, that's gonna be a problem.
Like, if you want to take down Mike Tyson and you are much smaller than him, you need a weapon.
Well, that's the thing. Jake Paul's not much smaller than him anymore. He's fucking fat now.
Okay, it's not fat. It's water weight.
They took away his ability to use the performance enhancing and drugs, and then he fucking ballooned up.
Oh god, he was that heavy into him?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was fighting Mike Tyson.
And also, I mean, here's the thing. JP, his fighting style, if you've ever watched him in the ring, it's like watching the wacky waving inflatable arm man in a match.
Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
The reason why the Boxing Association made it an official match is because a lot of the people in that association have a lot of respect for what Mike Tyson did for that sport. And the comments he made, they're like, we're making this official, so you gotta be straight, you gotta be clean, and you're in his ring now, boy.
So, that being said, we've got 9 minutes left. We should probably turn it back to Kaijus.
Mike Tyson is a kaiju.
We're not talking about a kaiju right now. I do want to mention one thing before we do head off, though, because when it comes to Mike Tyson, the thing that I don't think any of the younger kids seem to realize is that, yeah, he's older. He is. And somewhat a little bit slower. But He's fought
So it's a 45 caliber bullet.
But this dude fought his entire life. This was a person who brought the boxing league from the mid to the front line of sports, all off of his own sheer will alone. And this was somebody that everybody was against because he was a felon, and he still rose to the top.
That he is a force of will, and a lot of these younger generations haven't met that type of force of will. They're not common anymore.
No, their faces are people like JP and what the hell is the name of that bald dude with a goatee?
I don't know. I don't watch boxing. I just
haven't-
want to watch this for obvious reasons.
It's like it's like I've actually seen one person. He's oh my god, I cannot remember his name. He does TikToks. And something bearded old. He's a Gen Xer who does like sit down on his porch and talks with a gray beard. And he was talking about Jake Paul, and he was just like, "You literally took the most feral of Gen X and went and insulted his family. You're dead."
He gotta eat you for dinner. So for the last, as much as we're appreciating Mike Tyson, the human kaiju, we're
Yep.
let's get.
Imagine having Rita Repulsa hit him with her wand.
Oh God,
Oh,
no,
God.
no. All right, let's bring it back for the last few minutes to kaiju with a final question involving kaiju themselves, which is, out of all of the various kaiju that you've seen and their capabilities, which one would you personally want if you could have one as a superpower?
Godzilla Earth.
Fuck. Not fair, but okay.
It's my favorite Godzilla. What did you think I was gonna pick?
True. You would pick.
Even the one from the first movie. The baby one from the first movie.
Yeah, the little one that they thought was the Godzilla, but wasn't the Godzilla.
Yeah, they had to use... that was the Godzilla. They literally had a dozen nukes go off, and all they did was annoy it.
I mean,
Just that one. I want that shield.
That level of durability.
I want Ghidorah's ability to control people in King of Monsters.
Oh, okay. So you want his the psychic sonic ability that he's got.
The ability to control people. Do you have any idea how many less stupid people I would have to deal with on a daily basis?
True. I personally would have to choose one of my favorite kaiju's abilities, which is Mothra's ability.
Glowy wings?
Well, she's literally a producer of energy.
I think Mothra has the best relationship with humanity of all kaiju.
Oh yeah, no, because she is. She's the first.
Not in the Monsterverse.
Yeah, without revealing too much, involving specifically with the Showa era and the Heisei era, Mothra essentially was the personification of humans' connection to kaiju.
And all you had to do is have a couple of really small women sing.
They
and
had
Mothra would come and kick your ass.
they had to be twins.
They had her in King of the Monsters, by the way.
Yeah, and there are opposite. Yes, her opposite is Batra, which was a very weird kaiju.
I mean, fuck, what was the joke I was just getting ready to make? God damn it. Oh, she's humanity's connection to kaiju. Not in the Monsterverse. It wasn't around long enough.
Yeah, shut up. Why you gotta throw that kind of shade on our boy Godzilla's girlfriend? He misses her.
I mean, he's content with kicking Kong's ass.
Over and over again.
I think what happened is the only thing that could tell Godzilla down, boy, was gone.
Yeah.
I mean, ever since Godzilla vs. Kong, in the last scene where you see Kong in Hollow Earth, I have had a saying about that movie that gets me in so much fucking trouble.
Which is what?
Godzilla kicked Kong's ass so hard he retreated to the center of the fucking earth.
Just watch the next movie. Fuck, dude.
We can't. Theaters involve people, and people are no.
I know.
No.
Just
For
wait.
me, it's theaters involve money.
Yeah. Just wait for it to be on Max, because it's going to be on Max in July.
Yeah, and what it is, I'm going to enjoy the crap out of it.
Yes.
I might even borrow my wife's the big TV.
I mean, I did buy it. If you want, we could have a movie night and I could stream it on Discord. Just a consideration.
Wait, how did you get it?
Huh? You can buy it on Amazon
for
Prime
sale.
right now.
I'm waiting for it to be free on Max because I have Max.
How much is it on Amazon Prime?
I think right now it was 15 last I saw it, but the deal might be done. Buy it, watch it. I want to talk to somebody about it.
Well, then I think we need to find out when to stream it.
Yeah, I mean, we could always just do a Discord night.
Yeah.
I would not suggest this weekend though. It's a holiday weekend.
Yeah. I'll
Oh, question. Availability next week.
Mine doesn't change.
Mine doesn't change.
Mine. I might. What's up?
Yeah, because, I mean, we could do it next week. We could pick a next weekday after stream and do it on Discord.
Warning, my lovely wife just said that Discord gets a little weird with movies.
Ooh, what do you mean?
Yeah, I have my
piracy stuff on it.
yeah, but there's settings that you can use on Google Chrome to bypass it.
Yeah.
I've already got it set up. Like that PC behind me is what I use for Discord date nights because I have it already set up with those settings. Because I don't remember the settings, but
Yeah. It should
It's
be
set
able
up
to
for it.
circumvent it. And it's not like it's going to be like, I'm showing it off to everybody. I'm just showing it off to our Discord community.
I love watching the fun of the big monster going pow pow.
Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of big monster pow pow in this one.
That being said, are we doing D&Doofs this Friday?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
And also, that being said, are you streaming today? No? Feeling too tired?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not with the way I'm feeling because of this fucking diet.
All right.
Truthfully, I don't know when I'm going to start streaming again because there's a considerable lack of motivation.
You suck.
Well, I have all my other projects and shit that I want to work on.
All right, I guess that's true.
You know, I haven't streamed in 3 weeks. I don't know when I'm going to next. Okay. One, I'm usually talking to myself, which is hard to deal with.
It's how
then-
you gotta start.
But the problem is my availability versus when people are available to watch suck.
I mean, like I said, I still believe in
Sick
you.
the last 3 weeks.
Or at least try making your YouTube content then. Mer.
When I feel better and have more time, I was going to get back to streaming, but I need to get myself feeling good
Okay.
before I worry about it.
Fine.
I gotta figure out what I want to stream because the nostalgia games isn't really doing it for me. It's not It's not fast paced enough.
I get you.
I
All
might
right.
be switching over to Fallout or something like that.
I mean, hell yeah. But either way, we'll figure it out, and this is where we're going to be ending today's episode of A Bunch of Goofs. Thank you all so much for being here. I do appreciate y'all. It was a lot of fun. Thank you, Oda, Chef, for being here. And let's find someone to raid as they creepily wave us off.
Car.
Do you know where this is from?
Huh?
Do you know where this wave is from?
I can think of a couple of things, but no.
No.
Veer back in 5.
Huh?
Veer Babylon 5, where Mr. Morden's head's up on a pike.
Oh God.
I never really watched Babylon 5.
Alrighty then, everybody. We are going to be rating my friend, whom probably doesn't remember me because I haven't talked to him in a long time. But either way, I see them live. They're known as Ryu the Red. Please show them the same amount of love that y'all have shown me. Thank you so much for being here, for hanging out. And what the fuck? Is that not working?
Did you break shit?
Yep. Faja.exe hit wrong button.
Stop breaking stuff.
I'm not trying to?
Lies, you're always trying to.
There we go. Alrighty then. Either way, thank you all so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. The Goofs all appreciate it. And of course, please do look forward to these episodes being edited and posted onto YouTube and Spotify in the future, because I'm currently working on that. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all later.
Well, everybody, that's the end of today's episode of Bunch of Goofs. I hope you enjoyed, and of course, let's say thank you to our cast: Asian Fasha Gamer, Audacia, and Hey, I'm Chef. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.